everybody, I'm back. Welcome to episode 81 of the Pins and Needles podcast. My name is Zoe. You can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram as Pins and Needles UK. I will eventually get round to doing show notes, which I will put in the drop down box below this video if you want the finer details of anything that I'm going to talk about today. As always, it's been a while since I've been here. May and June have been super busy, but I will fill you in at the end if any of you are interested in life stuff. Today is Saturday the 1st of July, and that means I'm so excited I can't get the words out. 1st of July means the start of the Tour de France and also the Tour de Fleece. I absolutely love watching the cycling. Dave and I both do. We got sucked into it by a couple of members at the gym, and we recently watched a fantastic documentary on Netflix that followed the 2022 tour, a few of the different teams, a few of the different riders, and it was fascinating. So kickoff for the Tour de France is at 11 a.m. this morning. It is currently 9:47. So I thought I must absolutely get a podcast recorded today so that I can tell you my plans for the spin along that goes with it, Tour de Fleece. But before I go too far into my spinning plans, I thought I'd just do a quick couple of FOs and a little bit of whips, because you're probably curious to know what I've been doing with all my spare time. Hanging up next to me on my mantelpiece is my finished throw-over jumper by Andrea Mowry. I knit this as a sample for the Cartref yarn stand. Should have mentioned, along with my friend Jennie of Owl About Yarn. Together we are Cartref yarn, which is an exclusive blend of 100% Welsh wool that we dye ourselves, completely produced in Wales. And we also run the Knit Tea Retreat. Again, I'll leave links below. Anyway, so we had a stand at Wonderwool in April this year, the big wool show in the middle of Wales. And although we've got some samples on the stand of patterns that we've both written, didn't have any garments. Well, we have one, a lovely one that my mum knit, and I wanted another one, and I wanted one in colourwork. So, as I mentioned, this is the throw-over by Andrea Mowry. I knitted this in our Cartref DK. The main colour, this lovely purple, is Coron. And then for my contrasts, the yellow is Aya, the creamy oatmeal is the undyed colourway that we call Material, and then this gorgeous orange is Flan. Absolutely loved knitting this. Because it was a stand sample, I didn't do, sorry I'm catching the microphone wire, I didn't do a tension square. It didn't need to fit anybody, it was just going to live on a coat hanger on the stand. I picked the 4th size and I just cast on and knit it. I did exactly what it said for the pattern. It's top down in the round, knitted on 5mm needles. Now Cartref DK is a heavy DK, you can use it as worsted, so I've used it on 4.5mm needles before, but I'd never used it on 5s, and I was pleased to see how well it holds up. Even on that larger needle, you can just about see my hand through it, but it's still a nice fabric. It's not loosey-goosey and airy. It's just a nice, sensible tension for jumpers. Let me hang that back up so I can have some free hands. It is a little more cropped than I would wear personally. I can get it on, doesn't look good, just because it's a bit too small for me. But I love the design, and I would definitely knit one for me in a larger size. It kind of has 0 to maybe 1 inch of negative ease on me, which is a bit tighter than I like. The project bag I used is just my here, one sec. I bought this lovely project bag from Wonderwool. I did show it to you in my Wonderwool update, and it's Cassiopeia yarns. The reason, however, oh, please tell me I've still got them. I can't find them. I was unsure about the order in which to do the contrast colours. So I did that thing where you get bits of cardboard and you wrap yarn around the cardboard so you can try things out without actually having to knit them. And then I sent them to the WhatsApp group with my knitty friends. And this is the colour order that Ruth liked the best. And I think she was absolutely right. She said I definitely needed the cream, the undyed in the middle. I'm sure I must still have that photo. I'll put the photo up here so you can see just how useful a process it is. I hadn't done that before, so it's quite fun to do. I just dived into the recycling and pulled out a bit of old cardboard box. And I really felt like it gave me a good side-by-side comparison, and it only took a few minutes. And I'm very happy with how it turned out. So that's my throw over. If you ever come and see Cartref at one of our wool shows, I'm pretty sure that will be there. I would like to knit a 4-ply pullover as well. Or like the vast majority of the patterns that Jennie and I have designed and the samples that we've knit have been in the DK weight. That was the first weight of yarn. That was the weight of yarn that we launched Cartref with. The 4-ply came a bit later. So yeah, I need to knit probably a colourwork 4-ply or maybe like a massive shawl, something like that, so we can really show off the yarn to its advantage. Anyway, so that was the throw over by Andrea Mowry. Really simple knit, really enjoyed every minute of it, would highly recommend. I'm pretty sure she has a cardigan version as well, so if you prefer a cardi, you can go for that. But I seem to remember that even though it's colourwork, she knits it back and forth, as opposed to in the round and steeking it, but that's easy enough to swap out. My other finished object, and I'm not usually a bandwagon sort of person, but this pleasing little croissant of garter stitch is the Sophie Scarf by Petite Knits. This is made from my hand spun. If you remember, I met a lady in the Pontypridd Sainsbury's car park, I think back in February, and she was destashing a huge amount of gorgeous fibre, and I just couldn't pass up the opportunity. And actually it was kind of 2 IKEA bags. It was like this. It was just enormous. Whole mixture of different dyers. There was bats, there were tops, there were rollags, all sorts. And the vast majority of them, sorry, I straightened my hair to see you so I look presentable, and now I look weird. Anyway, yeah, so I ended up with 2 massive bags of fibre, most of which were labelled, some of which was not. And this was one of the unlabelled braids of fibre. The colours are actually showing up beautifully, I have to say. It's really soft and drapey and silky. It must have some silk in it. Might well have some alpaca in it, who knows. So it was just the one braid, and I was umming and ahhing about how to spin it. And in the end, I just spun it end to end. Simple as that. I split it in half, spun it end to end, plied it into a 2-ply. Now the eagle-eyed amongst you might notice that the edges of this aren't as straight as they should be. It's a super simple pattern. You start at one end with just a few stitches, and as you increase, you work in an I-cord edge. And it says very clearly in the pattern, make sure you mark your right side so that you know which side you're doing your increases and then your decreases on. Did I do that? No, I did not. So I sort of lost track a bit. Oh, you can see a massive bump there. I held it up against the wall. Can you see how wibbly wobbly it is? Yeah, if you knit this, make sure you mark which is the right side. Anyway, that's completely my error. The pattern is lovely, and I really enjoy the transition of the colours. So I didn't use the entire 100 grams, and when I got to the halfway point in the middle, before I started the decreases, I pulled out some of the green because I wanted to make sure that this end had some of those stormy greys in it, so I got the full effect. I knit the larger size, which is designed to wrap twice around your neck, and I think I did do a few more increases than the pattern called for. I think it was probably just an extra 2 or 3 repeats. I'm quite tall, I just wanted a bit of extra length. I knitted this for when I'm at work over winter. Anyone that's new, I work in a gym. I own and run a gym. So in winter, I'm in like a hoodie sweatshirt, but my neck gets cold. The hood doesn't come up the back of your neck. Excuse me. I do wear shawls, but the ends dangle a bit and it just, everything gets in my way. So I thought this would be perfect because it wraps round twice. You can tie the edges. Obviously the neck's a bit lower on this top, but if you're wearing a hoodie, the neck comes up to about here. So this will just beautifully stop the drafts. It's really warm and cozy. I love the colour and it is super, super soft. The lady that designs it looks much more fashionable than I do. But yeah, I like it. Actually, it goes quite well with my linen top. So this was a lovely, lovely project. It's just garter stitch. And if you do what they say and mark the right side, then it's really brainless knitting. Folds up super small to go in my work bag. Really pleased with that. Pop that up there. On to works in progress. Living in my lovely elephant project bag that my aunt bought me. She even had my initials put on it. I've got a pair of socks. These are my dad's Christmas socks. He gets at least 1 pair every year. I've knitted the first sock and I'm just on the heel flap of the second one. I like a top down heel flap and gusset sock. I actually prefer a rounded toe. Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears does what she calls an umbrella toe, which I really like. But for some reason I did a wedge on this one, just a standard wedge toe, so I'll make the other one match. The yarn is a mystery to me. It feels like Drops Fable, but I don't have the label. It came in a sock snake. Do you remember last year when we were all knitting socks for the West Midlands Ambulance Service? And lovely Charlie, Charlie Button Yarns and the Yarn Ambassador cranked a load of sock tubes. And I didn't get through them all. So I absolutely loathe sock tubes. For me, the whole point of socks is to enjoy the process, and it's fairly brainless. And picking up stitches and cutting yarn and then doing afterthought heels which don't ever fit me makes me want to just scream. So I ripped it out. I wound it onto my ball winder, which is why the yarn is all crinkly. The contrast is it's opal unicolor, something to do with coffee. Really nice dark brown. I bought a couple of plain balls of opal, a brown, a navy, a grey and a lovely maroon, so that when I knit socks for my dad, he's got really large feet. He's got UK size 11, which I think is US size 12. So it's nice to have contrasts for heels, cuffs and toes, and this was less, I had less than 100 grams of the main colour. So yeah, 2x2 rib and then a 6x2 rib for the leg and the foot. Nothing else to say about them really. I'm not particularly enjoying the yarn, the main colour. I like sturdy German sock yarn for socks. I prefer it over indie dyed yarn. I'm not particularly, the colour is just not, not very exciting, is it? But they'll be very sturdy, very hard wearing, and Dad wears wool socks most of the year, so they'll last. Oh, and I'm using my little cup of tea stitch marker. I think this is a Chapel View Crafts one. so that's nice. So that's my work in progress. I'm struggling to get through them a bit because, as I said, I don't really enjoy the yarn. And July is going to be quite busy from a crafting point of view, so those will actually be quite nice. I can just pick it up and put it down, having done a few rounds as a break. My plan is to get through the heel flap and the heel turn today, pick up the stitches for the gusset, and then it's just brainless knit, knit, knit all the way, so that will be quite good. On to spinning. I have had a spinning project on my wheel for months now. I've been spinning on and off for quite a few years, and the most I think I've ever done is 200 grams of the same fibre. And I thought that this year I'd challenge myself to a sweater spin enough to make an entire jumper. And I'm this close to finishing. So this is my spinning bucket bag. This is an Ockles project bag by lovely Estelle of Midwinter Yarns. I've no idea if you watch Estelle, but if you do, I really hope your move to Shetland went smoothly. So yeah, it's a lovely wax canvas in this beautiful foresty green. To do it up, you just roll the top down. And then it clips together with those nice brassish findings. And what I like is that it's a proper bucket. It's huge, and mine has got this lovely foxy lining in it. I bought this from Mark, Estelle's husband, on the stand, not this April just gone, probably the one before that. Anyway, I digress. So I bought 500 grams of fibre from John Arbon. Oh no, that's the label for the project bag. Sure, I've got it. Maybe I don't. Anyway, this is the fibre. It's John Arbon Yarnadelic. The fibre content escapes me, but I will link it down below and I will put it on the screen as well. A lot of the stuff that John Arbon does, you can either buy the fibre to spin your own, or you can buy the finished yarn. So if you're not a spinner and you love this, you can totally just go and buy it. So I bought 500 grams, thinking I'll spin it into a 4-ply, a fingering weight, because that's quite versatile. If I can find a pattern I like in 4-ply that I've got enough yarn for at the end, great. If not, I can hold it double and maybe knit a short sleeve garment of some kind. So this is the fibre. That colour is coming up beautifully on the screen. It's really accurate, and just look at it. It is honestly one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. In my monthly thread on Ravelry I take part in, Mary, who is Booksprunk, hi Mary, she bought 100 grams of this and spun it up on her e-spinner, and I was just irrationally jealous. So that's why I went and bought some of this. So I bought 500 grams. I've got 3 100-ish gram skeins complete. The fourth is complete. I applied it up last night. There it is on my Electric Eel 6 e-spinner. And I've got this final 100 gram braid left. So my main goal for the Tour de Fleece is to finish this sweater spin. Oh. I'm a bit of any of you that have been watching, I'm a bit of a type A crafter. I plan things, I like them how I want them, I rip out and correct mistakes 99% of the time. I can find that can stop me doing things, stop me starting projects, because I want it to be perfect, and you can't be perfect when you're not hugely experienced. So for this project, I decided to embrace my control freak tendencies, and to use this as an exercise in spinning consistency. Sometimes I'll just spin a braid of fibre and see what it wants to come out at. I don't necessarily have a plan for the yarn. I'm not trying to spin to a particular thickness. And I'm not a very experienced spinner, so I'm not across all the fine details of grist, and still not sure what grist means. But I did want to aim for some consistency with this. And although my skeins are different lengths because I wound them on different things, hopefully, let me make sure it's focusing. Hopefully you can see that they are reasonably consistent. A lot of times people in the spinning community say, oh, why do you know, that's the glory of handspun, is the variety, the thick and thin nature and the homespun feel of it. And yes, that is one of the glories of it, but if you want to spin really consistent yarn that ends up looking almost shop bought, do it. Why is that a problem? So that's what I was aiming for, really nice and consistent spinning. So to aid me in my quest, I now have 3, which is a different story. I've got some Spinner's Control card measures from Hilltop Cloud, who is a Welsh fibre dyer. Well, she lives in Wales. I don't think she's actually Welsh. And those darker brown wooden marks on it are reference guides for your plied yarn, or indeed your singles yarn. And it gives you a wraps per inch measure, as in it has a notch in the top here that you can actually wrap your finished yarn around to check your wraps per inch yourself. And you can use this as a guide when you're spinning to help hit a certain target of thickness of yarn or compare your consistency. So it's looking a little ratty now because it's been in my bag for a while. Oh, one of the skeins escaped. So what I did was spin up a sample of yarn. That's not fixing. There we go. And I kept both a bit of the singles and a bit of the plied yarn and tied it around my control card as a reference for me to follow. So when I'm spinning the fibre up, I have a plain white tea towel on my lap just to give me enough contrast so I can see what I'm doing. And I have this next to me on the armchair. And every now and then I'll just stop what I'm doing and I'll do a ply back test on my singles and I'll hold it up against these. I'm only eyeballing it, so it's not terribly accurate. But it's enough of a guide to give me pretty consistent finished yarn. And we'll see at the end, I suppose, when I haven't washed these finished skeins. And when I do that, it'll poof up a little bit and hopefully I'll get the nice 4-ply I'm after. And I've got a yarn counter for meterage, so I can check the meterage as well. So that is what I'm planning on doing for the Tour de Fleece. Finishing this, and then I'll wash and dry and measure all of the yarn. My goal is to have a finished hand-spun, hand-knitted jumper by the end of the year. So we will have to see if I can achieve that. Now, 100 grams of fibre is about what I will get through in a month if I do my usual amount of spinning. I spin usually a couple of times a week for half an hour to an hour each time. It just depends how my week is going and how my hands are feeling. I have rheumatoid arthritis and my hands can be better or worse depending on all sorts of things. So I have to be careful I don't spin too much because that can set my hands off. But this, if I'm definitely focusing on spinning this month, should not take me the full month, in which case I'm going to need some more fibre. So I've pulled out a bag from my fibre stash with a few things on it, and I thought you might like to help me choose. Should we go and have a look? Here is just some of my fibre stash. My apologies if the dining room door sucks and blows. Oh, hey Susan. Oh, just like that. 1 second, I'll close the back door. Although it's the 1st of July, it's quite grey and cool and really windy today, so I keep the windows open most of the time, but it does make for background noise and door slams. So I've been spinning an awful lot of green, as you've just seen, and so I fancy something different. I've dug out some of my older fibre stash, a couple of newer bits and pieces, and laid them out on the table. Some are works in progress, one is works in progress, all of the rest are brand new, 2 works in progress. I think I've narrowed it down to 2 options, but I'll show you what I've got and you guys can help me decide. Might be easier if I come round the other side. We'll see. Okay, maybe that's a better view. These colours are all pretty accurate. I'm just using daylight, mostly because I don't currently have a dining room light. Well, I do have a dining room light, but we need an electrician to come and fit it. So there are no lights downstairs. Anyway, I digress. So this is my selection. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. These are some absolutely beautiful rollags from Ange of Yarn and Yarns. This is the very first of her Fibre Club boxes. There were 4 beautiful rollags, and now I have 3 beautiful rollags and some destroyed fluff. Now, you might ask yourself who is responsible for this destruction. And if I just zoom you over this way a little bit, past my disgusting dining room chairs. Hey, Susie, do you have anything to say about the state of that rollag? Are you sorry? I don't think she is. There's lovely Jim as well. He's perfect. He's never destroyed my fibre. To be fair to Susie, it was when she was a very little puppy and I should have taken better care of my fibre storage. Anyway, so this is an option. I've only spun 3 or 4 rollags. Long draw is something I would like to work on, so maybe these might be good for the challenge days for the tour. I think there is 3 challenge days, so actually that would work quite well. 2 rollags per challenge day, and then the 3rd day I could ply them up. I am very tempted by this one. This is Hilltop Cloud, and this is about as different to green as you can get. I love these autumn tones of golds and pinks, and this is a blend I haven't spun before. This is 50% Romney, 25% silk and 25% linen. That might be quite good fun. I've got a pack of Corriedale minis, basically, in a rainbow, which I could spin up. My plan is to chain ply these into a 4-ply and knit a cowl or, I don't know, colourwork yoke or something like that. But that's quite a large project. That's 250 grams, and I fancy a quick and dirty 100-gram project. Apologies for the reflections. I've got quite a bit of Hilltop Cloud Cambrian fibre. This is pure Welsh Mule fibre. Now, Welsh Mule is a standard Welsh hill breed. It's a mix of Bluefaced Leicester and usually White Welsh Mountain. Our Cartref yarn is 2/3 Welsh Mule and 1/3 Welsh BFL. But this is 100% Welsh Mule. Now, she does these little sample packs. And I spun up one, excuse the rustling, should have thought this through, ages ago. So I've got 5 different colours here, and then I just spun up the remnants. So that's one set. That's the Mine colourway from Colours of Cambria. And I've got the Steam colourway. So that's a total of 100 grams. This is the Coast colourway set. These are 2 little individual ones that Ruth gave me as part of our friend's Advent swap. And this pack is her seasonal changes, but still the same Cambrian. This is December 21, Beneath the Stars. And this was a present from lovely Jeanette. So this, spinning up this, would still give me my quick, fast finish feeling. Because, you know, how pleasing is that? but it is still part of a larger project, so maybe, maybe not. This is 100 grams of John Arbon Corriedale, can't remember the colourway. This is one of my spinning whips. So this is fibre dyed by Jennie, Owl About Yarn. And it's a Bluefaced, oh, pause for the dogs to yell. Jim just saved me from the postman. This is a Bluefaced Leicester and rose fibre, about 87.5 BFL, 12.5 rose fibre, in the colourway Turning Leaves. I don't think she has any more of this at the moment. So I spun up 100 grams on my Ashford Traditional. That's 250 gram skeins, and I've got this one left. But again, I don't know, bigger project. Now, this is something I'm very tempted with. I bought a skein of Cat and Sparrow in this gorgeous orange colour. It's called Ilaria. It's Corriedale, Shetland, Alpaca, Mulberry Silk and Merino. And is that not just glorious? I wish I'd bought more than one braid. But I do have this braid, not this braid, this bat, which is also Cat and Sparrow, although it's, I don't know if I've actually got the label. This is part of my Pontypridd car park haul. And I was wondering, I mean, they're very different preps, I don't know, but they might work together, maybe. This is another part of my car park haul. Quite a lot of it was bats. And there's this absolutely crazy 80s neon bat. And she put some of everything in her bats. So this is Merino Shetland neon dyed, blended together with neon sea cell and neon trilobal, extra bling neon Angelina. And it's just, I mean, look at it. It's pink and it's orange and it's yellow and it's black and it's blue and it's sparkly. I'm pretty sure that's 200 grams. So maybe. And then at the top, I've got another sweater spin, 400 grams of John Arbon Appledore top in the Sweet Coppin colourway. That's 40% Devon Close Wool, 40% Romney and 20% Exmoor Bluefaced. And this is another one that Susie Sue, who is trying to avoid us in her shame, had a good go at. Some bits are pretty much fine. Other bits are just a nest. Now I'm pretty sure it'll spin up okay. But yeah, you never know. Or this one, more Appledore in the Duffling colourway, another 200 grams. And this is just gorgeous. If you've ever seen my photo on Ravelry, I have this on my head in my photo as a beautiful head croissant. It's just the most gorgeous colour. Or my last one is 100 grams of the Hoary Morning, which cracks me up every time I say it. Slightly attacked, not too bad. So those are my options. Once I've got through my last 100 grams, what do you think? Do I do some more minis? Do I finish a spin in progress? Do I challenge myself to long draw? Do I just pick something that makes my heart sing? Or does it turn into the 1980s? I don't think I fancy the Appledore. It's lovely fibre. I just don't think I want anything that large. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think I should do. I should probably show you my spinning wheel as well. This is a Schacht Matchless. It says so on the front. This is a new to me-ish wheel. I bought this time last year actually, from a lovely lady just 40 miles down the road, and I spotted it advertised on Facebook Marketplace. For those of you that don't know, Schacht is an American brand of spinning wheel. So they are super expensive to start with, and then they cost you an arm and a leg in import fees and customs and goodness only knows what. So I was thrilled to find this so local to me. It's actually a single treadle, even though it looks like a double. I think most of the new ones are double treadles. I quite like the single. It's a castle style wheel. You can use it in Scotch tension or in double drive. I like Scotch tension, it's nice and simple. It's empty at the moment because I was plying yesterday on my Lazy Kate, so I had the bobbins off. One thing I have found, and I don't know if it's just mine, is it's quite rattly. I oiled and tightened everything, and in the end I cut out some little bits of polar fleece from my sewing stash to just help reduce the rattle of the bobbin on the flyer and against the whirl. It still rattles a little bit, and it's just the bobbin on the shaft, so I don't think there's anything to be done about that. She's quite heavy, so you have to make sure that when you stop spinning that the treadle is all the way down, or it yanks the fibre out of your hand. But one thing I have got to show you is my beautiful orifice hook. I'll pop it down on my TV stand. This was a gift to me from the lovely Caroline of the Colourful Creativity podcast. Hey Caroline. She is an insanely talented woman, and one of her many skills is in lamp work, making glass beads. And she very kindly used some of her glass beads to make this amazing orifice hook. She sent one to me, one to Angela, and one to Jennie. So I found this lovely bit of blue ribbon, and I just hang it over the back of my knob, and it is such a pleasure to use such beautiful things on a regular basis. So that's what I'm going to be doing pretty much all of my spinning on for the Tour de Fleece. I do ply on my electric Eel Wheel 6.0, which you saw earlier on. But yeah, those are my tools of choice. Sat back in my chair. This is my electric spinning wheel, electric Eel Wheel 6.0. I joined in the Kickstarter for this. The company that makes them is Dreaming Robots. You can find them. They've got their own website, they've got a fabulous Facebook group, I think they're on Ravelry as well. And Jennie and I bought one each. There was a buy two for a slightly cheaper cost option, and it also meant we could split delivery and customs and things. So this has much larger capacity bobbins. You can get a full 100 grams on these. So I tend to spin the singles on my matchless, and then I ply on my electric Eel Wheel. And I rarely get to ply the whole 100 grams in one go. So the other reason I like plying on here is it's much easier to move. If I need to stop partway through for the night, I have this, I have my Lazy Kate, my tension Lazy Kate, which I can pick up one in each hand, and I can put it safely out of the way till I come back to use it. If I'm plying on my matchless, it plies beautifully, but again, if I want to put things away partway through, it's really heavy and cumbersome to move the wheel with one hand and my Lazy Kate in the other, and there's fewer places I can put it. So just for convenience, I ply on here. I do spin on here as well, but mostly I ply. That's kind of why I bought it, to be fair. I know a lot of people have Ashford electric wheels as well, and they're really good, thumping great big bobbins on those. So that's my other main wheel. Right, just 2 more minutes for life stuff if anyone's interested. What's my news? My eldest son Conrad joined the Navy. He finished his A-levels last year, decided against going to university, and he's joined the Navy. So he's got 2 weeks left of his basic training. He's down on the south coast, and we get to go and watch his passing out parade very soon. He's absolutely loving it. He's tired. He's incredibly busy. He's done more ironing in the last 8 weeks than I think he's done in his previous 19 years. We're not big ironers in this family. But he's really enjoying it. He's very happy. He has his passing out parade, then he has that weekend off, and then he's going back to do his marine engineering training because that's what he wants to do. He wants to be an engineer. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to show you photos. There's a Facebook group where they post pictures for family of what they're up to, but because of security concerns, unfortunately, I can't share those with you. I think at the passing out parade, we can take pictures of us with him, and that's allowed to be shared. So towards the end of July, hopefully I'll be able to show you some of those. What else have I been up to? Busy with personal training and the gym. Just get a bit quieter at work over the summer when the students go home, but things are ticking over there. I'm nice and busy. Jocelyn had her end of year art exhibition. She's doing art and design at the local college. And I'll put a picture up of her and her finished piece. What she loves is drawing, pencil drawing, and she did a beautiful sort of 3D picture on canvas with different layers of sort of undersea with a mermaid and things like that. So the exhibition was lovely. There was speeches. I had a glass of lukewarm apple juice. That was lovely. Dave and Max are currently in the air. They went to Barcelona for a couple of days. Max turned 16 at the beginning of May, and for various reasons, he's never been abroad. So for his 16th birthday, we paid for him and his dad to go to Barcelona for a couple of days, and they've had a fabulous time. They've eaten seafood, they've spent time on the beach, they went and saw Gaudi's cathedral, they ate steak, Max went snorkeling. He's absolutely loving life at the moment. He did his GCSEs this summer, so we're waiting for the results, and he'll be off in September to college to do carpentry and bricklaying, which is good. Dogs are doing great as ever. Susie Sue is my absolute shadow at the moment, never more than an inch from me, Velcro dog. They both came into the gym the other day. Everyone's always pleased to see them at work. Jim the dog is doing good. He's going in for an operation on Tuesday. Like lots of Labradors, when they get older, he starts getting fatty lumps, and he's got sort of one on the inside of his shoulder on one side and the outside of another. And when we took them in for their annual checkup and injections, the vet said best to get it removed. It's not affecting his movement at the moment. He's not in any pain at all, but he said eventually they will, and it's better to do it sooner rather than later, given that he's 11 years old. So please send Mojo to Wales next Tuesday at about 9:30, because that's when he's going in for his operation. I think that's all I've got. I think that's everything. I've mostly been going to work and spinning. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're having time to craft. I hope the weather is being kind. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to try and record once a week in July, because as well as the Tour de Fleece, I'm taking part in Stephen West's Contrast Blast Mystery Sock-along. But I'll put that in a separate video. I don't want this to be too long. So I'll try and record every week, and hopefully it will have a bit of spinning, a bit of sock, and a bit of other stuff. I need to get back into podcasting regularly. I miss you guys, and I keep threatening to do it regularly, and then life gets in the way. So July will be it. I'll be back with a bang. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and click the subscribe button. It really helps my channel find other viewers. I'll get the show notes done as soon as possible, and let me know in the comments below what you think I should spin next. Probably not green. All right then, thanks guys, look after yourselves, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.